Ndị be anyị ekenekwanụ m unu. Asị m ka ụbọchị nketa mara na anyị na mma. Anyị si ka nke onye chikwelu ya zelụkwa. Anyị dịka o si dị, ihe a bụ Eastern News 24 ka anyị si were wetara onye bụ ozi. Unu je gị n'ugbu a n'iru akwụkwọ gbasata maka ya bụ ife na-ada na-akpọtụ na the Old Eastern Region ka anyị na-akpọ Biafra Land, and ife na-eme na mba ụwa dị iche iche, and ife na-eme n'obodo a. Alright, ozi eji maka ya wee bịa bụ according to the Biafran activist weta ya bụ ozi as he quote: "One good turn deserves another. Remember, whenever you are in power, one day it will expire." Nigerian court order IG to arrest Inec chairman Yakubu. Here the news in details. According to the news, IG Makiawe Beniru Akono Bosinketa, Oya Masim Kaiton Tigaya Bife. Ediki Gesiakaba Kiliat Anifa, I will tell you no Bosinketa. Over to you.
The World News at 12 on Voice of the People, 90.3 FM. My name is Choma Innocent, and here are the top stories. Telecom services shut down in Afghanistan as Taliban cuts off internet. Many kidnapped as bandits lay siege to Niger communities. Fuel price increases as Dangote Refinery and Pengassan meeting ends in deadlock, while court orders IGP to arrest Inec chairman Mahmood Yakubu. Details now. Thank you for staying tuned. The World News at 12 begins outside Nigeria, where the Taliban government in Afghanistan has imposed a nationwide shutdown of telecommunications weeks after it began severing fiber optic internet connections. The country is currently experiencing a total internet blackout, according to internet watchdog NetBlocks. International news agencies say they have lost contact with offices in the capital, Kabul. Mobile internet and satellite TV have also been severely disrupted across Afghanistan. The Taliban are yet to give an official reason for the shutdown. Since seizing power in 2021, the Taliban have imposed numerous restrictions in accordance with their own interpretation of Islamic laws. A Taliban official stated that the telecom shutdown would remain in effect until further notice. Flights from Kabul airport have also been disrupted, according to reports from local media. In a very tragic development back home in Nigeria, tributes have continued to pour in for Rise television anchor Somtochukwu Maduago, whose death during a robbery attack in Abuja on Monday has sparked grief across the country. In a fresh statement on X today, the management of Arise described the 29-year-old journalist and lawyer as delectable, intelligent and bold, noting that her contributions to the station and the nation would not be forgotten. Maduago, fondly called Sumi by colleagues, was said to have first appeared on the Arise screen as a guest after winning the Miss Tourism Nigeria pageant. She later represented Nigeria at the Miss Tourism World pageant in Guangzhou, China in 2023, before formally joining the station a year ago. Confirming the incident, the FCT Police Public Relations Officer Josephine Ade noted that an investigation had begun into the incident. Viewers and netizens have since flooded social media with tributes praising Sumi's courage and professionalism. Her death has also renewed calls for urgent action against insecurity across the country. In a recent development, the former chairman of the Niger State Universal Basic Education Board, Alhaji Alhassan Bawa Niworo, has been kidnapped. Niworo was reportedly kidnapped along several other travelers around 4 p.m. on Monday, September 29. The attack has struck between Felagi and Ibi communities on Mokwa, New Bossa Road in Borgu local government area. Sources said the former chairman of Subeb, alongside other people, including one barrister Ahmad, were on their way to Mina when the terrorists blocked the road and whisked them into the nearby forest. Nigerians may have to pay additional to get petrol as the feud between Dangote Refinery and the Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria, Pengassan, remains unresolved. This is because the closed-door meeting on Monday among the federal government, Dangote Refinery and Pengassan ended in a deadlock. The president of Pengassan, Festus Osifo, confirmed this to journalists this morning. When asked for an update on the meeting chaired by the federal government, Comrade Osifo similarly said deadlock. Dangote Refinery has not made any shift, rather ignoring the demand of the workers, which is to recall workers unjustly sacked for belonging to Pengasan. Though Dangote Refinery has not stated explicitly the number of workers it sacked, the plant, however, has not denied the action. In judicial cases, a federal high court sitting in Osogbo, Osun State, has directed the Inspector General of Police, IGP Kayode Egbetokun, to arrest the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Inec, Professor Mahmood Yakubu, over alleged contempt of court. The order came after Inec allegedly failed to comply with the ruling in favor of the Action Alliance AA. The party had gone to court demanding the commission to recognize all state chairmen elected under the leadership of Adekunle Rufai Omoaje. Justice Fumilola Demi-Ajayi, who presided over the case, criticized the electoral body for disobeying a valid judgment. She ordered Professor Yakubu to restore the names of the affected chairmen on the Inec portal within 7 days. The court further imposed a fine of 100,000 naira against the Inec chairman. It warned that failure to comply with the set period would trigger his immediate arrest by the police. However, the court had earlier ruled that the convention that produced Omoaje as national chairman of the party was valid. According to the judge, the convention was monitored by INEC and held in line with the Electoral Act and the party's constitution. The federal government is set to arraign human rights activist Omoyele Sowore on a 5-count charge for allegedly making false posts against President Bola Tinubu to cause breakdown of law and order. The charges have X Incorporation and Meta, that's Facebook, as 2 other defendants. Sowore was accused of using his official X handle to make the posts. I quote, "This criminal at official pivots actually went to Brazil to state that there is no more corruption under his regime in Nigeria. What audacity to lie shamelessly," end quote. The alleged offending post, said to be contrary to Section 24, subsection 2B of the Cybercrimes Prohibition and Prevention Act, was reportedly made in August within the jurisdiction of the Federal High Court. You're currently listening to The World News at 12 right here on Voice of the People 90.3 FM. We took a very short break and return with more stories and the news analysis segment. Do stay tuned. Welcome back. You're still listening to The World News at 12 right here on Voice of the People 90.3 FM. The Anambra State Police Command has arrested 4 suspects for armed robbery and kidnapping and recovered 1 pump action gun and 1 black Toyota Camry car during the arrest. In a press statement released today, spokesperson for the Anambra State Police SP Tochukwu Ikenga said operatives of the police command attached to the Rapid Response Squad, or KUZU, acting on credible intelligence, arrested the suspect on September 24. Ikenga said the suspect, all males aged between 22 and 40, were arrested in Aguleri, Anambra East local government area of the state. They noted that the police were acting on credible intelligence and arrested 4 suspected members of a criminal gang allegedly involved in armed robbery and kidnapping in the area. The suspects are still undergoing interrogation, and the Commissioner of Police, CP Ikoyi Orutugu, reaffirmed the command's commitment to ensuring that criminal elements have no hiding place in the state. Meanwhile, the Christian Association of Nigeria, Taraba State Chapter, has issued a powerful call for national unity and prayer as Nigeria prepares to mark its 65th independence anniversary. The body also congratulated President Bola Tinubu and Nigerians as the country celebrates its 65th independence anniversary tomorrow October 1. In the press statement released in Jalingo and signed by the State CAN chairman, Reverend Father Williams Awoshiri, the Christian body said the occasion should serve not just as a celebration but also as a sober reflection on Nigeria's journey. Awoshiri said 65 years after independence, the nation has faced trials but has also remained as resolute and demonstrated resilience and faith. He urged Nigerians not to give up on the country, stressing that collective prayers and patriotism remain key to a better future. We'll now head to the news analysis segment. Joining me to discuss issues on the world news at 12 today, I have veteran reporter as well as political, social and national affairs analyst, Mr. Dele Fanimo. Always a pleasure to have you here. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. My pleasure being here again.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us today. Always a pleasure to have you. I don't even know where to start. There's a lot of bad news in the country right now. And honestly, as much as we're supposed to remain objective as journalists, as much as we're supposed to be on the fence, we cannot help but speak against the insecurity that is currently happening in this country. It is quite appalling that in a place such as the FCT, that is the Federal Capital Territory, that is the place where we can use to, like sell Nigeria to foreigners. When we want to tell people, come to our country on a tour, come and be tourists, we tell them come to the FCT, come to Lagos, and yet this place have become hotbeds of insecurity, of kidnapping, of armed robbery, and of different deaths every day. We seem to sometimes those of us in these areas that have not seen such insecurity feel that we are cocooned away from this, but it's so sad, Mr. Fanimo. Again, I ask, what exactly can we do to curb this insecurity in this country, from kidnapping to banditry to terrorism? Personally, I am so tired of having to read about so many people being kidnapped every day. They seem to be just statistics, but these are people's family members that are dying every other day. What will it take for the political elite to actually understand that this is a ticking time bomb and it's about time that we detonate it?
You see, it's quite unfortunate that that lady lost her life the way she lost it. And my heart goes to the family, the Arise family, and his friends. You see, as a matter of fact, no country is free of criminal elements. But the degree and the audacity differ from one country to the other. When I first heard about the news of that lady's death, the first thing I did was to at least blame the facility that she was taken to while she was still breathing. We have said it times without number that if you have a victim of gunshot, please don't deny such person treatment, because once that life is lost, you can't get it back. Perhaps if they were active enough to try and see how best they could do to revive and save that lady's life, she will be alive today. That's one. Two, armed robbery is not a daily occurrence anymore because of the cashless policy, the advent of applications that in some cases you could transfer as much as 50 million naira.
Mr. Fanimo, unfortunately, some residents of Abuja will not agree with you, because this has led to a flurry of experiences with people posting on social media about how they or their family members were attacked. And they are saying that these attackers come with weapons. They don't even try to steal. They try to incapacitate their victims by hurting them grievously before even trying to steal from them. Do we still chalk this down to the economic situation of the country? Do we still chalk it down to poverty? Because what poor person gets on a bike, carries a machete and goes to attack somebody because you want to steal a laptop and a phone?
You see, let me tell you, I am emotionally disturbed because you won't appreciate some of these things when it comes close to you. It's coming close to our profession. That's why we're emotional about it. You know how many people that have died as a result of attacks? Either someone being kidnapped, and even when they collect ransom, they still kill. It's as bad as that. The person that killed Kirk, in less than 24 hours, he was fished out. And they didn't do mass arrest. They narrowed it down to the assailant. And he was picked. And overwhelming evidence was shown him. He couldn't deny. But when are we going to get to that point where whoever commits a crime will be apprehended in less than 48 hours? When Trump was in a forest close to his golf course, somebody attempted his life, and within hours he was picked. But high-profile murders in this country, how many of them have we been able to resolve? You see, Bola Ige, is it Delegiwa? Is it Alfred Riwani and all? Or some other people that are either politically exposed or they are big people.
So we should just accept it that it's
we are not
the
going
Nigerian
to accept
way.
it. No, we are not going to accept it. We need to strengthen our security apparatus. We need to train them. Let me give you an example. When my colleague, my very dear colleague, Bayo, was murdered at the Segbeda home, to show you the level of mediocrity, the sergeant that came with other team members to take samples for further investigation in Bayo's home, you know what he did? Instead of them cordoning off the area, the next thing they did was to just get buckets of water and broom to sweep off the blood of Bayo.
The police.
The police.
You know, we can talk from today to tomorrow about the ineptitude of security agencies and forces. We can talk about the terrible healthcare. We can talk about the bad roads. We can talk about the state of electricity. We can talk about the state of the economy. When we finish talking about all of this, that's on one hand. On the other hand, what exactly can we say is working in Nigeria at this moment?
You see, there are layers in government.
So what part of the government is working for the good of Nigerians? What part of the government are Nigerians benefiting from? Can we say, okay, every other thing is bad, but when it comes to this one, we can say, yes, they're doing well? Because when you read news reports of what this agency or that agency or this minister is doing, at the end of every report, they will write, this is part of President Bola Tinubu's renewed hope agenda to ensure that this and this and that works for Nigerians. But these are just words on paper. When exactly... Nigeria has been practicing democracy for so many years. At least we've had uninterrupted democracy from 1999. We've had elections, with some being free and fair, and some Nigerians saying that at other times they were not free and fair. But what exactly would we be able to say that a 65-year-old man is not a child? Yes, he's had so many experiences, and there is a space for us to say, okay, Nigeria has gone through different periods in her life as a nation. Right? But at 65, what can we say is working for us? Tomorrow is October 1st. We'll be celebrating independence. So after the British left us, what exactly have we been able to do for ourselves?
Now, let me answer you straight on. You see, it's not all gloom. There are some sunny side to it. And it's not just about the current administration. It's about our collective will to effect change. Change starts with individuals. What was the response of the neighbors in that woman's neighborhood?
They were all robbed in that neighborhood. So she wasn't the only one. According to the reports, that there were about 14 armed men that stormed the full neighborhood to rob people from the beginning to the end, and police officers only showed up when everything had happened and somebody died. And even the security guard who tried to resist them from the first building they attacked, according to reports, was also shot dead, taken to the hospital, and from the whole, oh, we cannot treat this, we cannot treat that. Unfortunately, he died.
You see, I am telling you There is no way armed robbers will come to a street and they position themselves in every home. How much of our brother's keeper do we espouse at times like this?
We will just continue to hope that, at least in this case, the Nigerian police will prove wrong those who believe that they are not really up to doing their job, or that they are inept. Let's quickly look at another situation, because as much as we want to continue talking about the insecurity in the land so that the government can take action, at some point it becomes overwhelming. At some point you just have to detach from all of these reports so that you do not feel too bad or feel too sad. But we have to keep talking about it, because imagine if this happened to somebody that you know. Imagine if this happened to a family member of yours. Let's quickly talk about the court ordering the IGP to arrest Inec chairman Mahmood over alleged contempt of court. It's alleged that he failed to comply with the ruling that was given in favor of the Action Alliance, the party Action Alliance, that is the AA. The court imposed a fine of 100,000 naira against the INEC chairman, saying if he doesn't comply within a particular period, then the IGP would have to arrest him. What's your take on this, Mr. Fanimo? I mean, he's leaving very, very soon, in less than 2 months, and right now the IGP, that's INEC chairman Mahmood Yakubu.
You see, the law is the law. If there is a pronouncement of the court and the person who is supposed to act on such pronouncement fails to heed that instruction, it's liable to contempt. Nobody's above the law. We are not going to look at the judge. Even if the judge erred, the moment that particular pronouncement is not vacated through an appeal, it is still binding on you. What stops? You see, it's an era of impunity. What stops Yakub to tell the head of the legal team of INEC to go to the court, either to challenge the ruling or to appear on behalf of INEC in the court? But because you get to a certain point that you believe that the law is not meant for you, it's meant for the other lowly person. So, but unfortunately, now who is going to execute that contempt pronouncement? I don't know. Is it the Nigerian police? Is it the director of security? State security, or who else? So it starts and ends at the realm of that pronouncement. But must we continue in this direction? Where is this road leading us to? No other thing I can see than perdition. And what are we going to tell our future generation, the one that are even watching us now? I fear for this day that would happen very soon, that your son, your daughter, your cousin, your nephew, your niece will ask you, Daddy, you went through all these. What was your contribution to say enough is enough? Now they are passing it to us for us to continue. Can we succeed if we go through this route? But unfortunately, how many people think about this? I do, and I feel concerned.
You feel concerned for the AA or for?
For contempt of court. If you lose absolute faith in the judicial system, you are setting the country up for chaos.
There's no denying the fact that many Nigerians have actually lost faith in the judicial system right now, and many times you see it being said, oh, you'll be arrested for contempt of court, you'll be held for contempt of court, but nothing happens. Do you actually expect that this order of arrest from the IGP to the INEC chairman would actually be enforced?
Well, if the political will is there, why not?
The political will? Why should the judiciary need a political will to act? Why should the police need a political will?
The judiciary can only make law. They can only make pronouncement. They can only pass judgment. Enforcement is within the police for civil matter and for criminal matter.
What that means is that even the police does not need a political will to act. Isn't a court order enough to move the police to act? Because the court, from all investigations and from what the lawyers of the two people in court or the two parties in court have decided, the court decided that, oh, this person is in contempt of court, and then this is the action that the court has decided to take. Would the police still need political will to act, or is it because he is the almighty Inec chairman, the chairman of Nigeria's electoral umpire? He should not be treated just anyhow.
Why don't you look at it this way? Let the police, let's give them that benefit of the doubt if they will not enforce this judgment.
So you're expecting to see the Inec chairman being arrested soon?
What? He doesn't have immunity.
Would that really happen in a country like Nigeria?
Nigeria is a place where anything can happen.
Both the good and the bad.
Of course. It's a place where anything can happen.
All right, because of our time, let's quickly look at this report of the federal government to arraign Omoyele Sowore over an alleged false post that he made against the president. Now, I actually went on Twitter to find this particular post, and he made this tweet on August 26th at about 11:38 p.m. It currently has 1.1 million views, 8.7 thousand likes, 3,700 retweets or quotes, and 1,900 comments. The bottom line is it's been seen 1.1 million times. And what he posted is this, I'm quoting verbatim from his Twitter, his verified Twitter handle. He said, "This criminal," and then he tagged the president at official ABAT, actually went to Brazil to state that there is no more corruption under his regime in Nigeria. What audacity to lie shamelessly. End quote. That was exactly what Sowore posted, and that's why he maybe is being prosecuted by the federal government, alongside other charges of cyber stalking and cyber crime that have been levied against him due to the case he has on the IGP.
Sowore is a public figure.
He's your friend now, is he not your friend?
Well, to some extent, and we also come from the same state. But then, for me, I think if there's going to be prosecution against Sowore for any infraction, let it remain at the realm of the court, and let justice be done and be seen to have been done.
But is it right for him to go online and call the president of Nigeria a criminal? What criminal act has the president been involved in?
You see, when you say somebody is a criminal, he must have been convicted by a competent court of law. But if it's still in the realm of speculation, it is dangerous, because that's what we were taught when we were in communication schools. It's the law of thought. You shouldn't libel somebody without a proof that that person is actually what is called. And Sowore, from all indications, even if the narrative is there, if there is no pronouncement of the court, that person cannot be called a criminal.
I think he would know that. Seeing as he is a journalist himself, he should know that there are certain things you say that will be counted as a slander.
Sowore is not a journalist. Sowore is not a journalist. Sowore is just a publisher. Not every publisher is a journalist. So let's clear that. The fact that he was able to raise money to establish Sahara Reporters, that doesn't make him a journalist. Oju Kalu is a publisher, but he never called himself a journalist. Emmanuel Iwanya was a publisher, he never called himself a journalist. Alex Ibru established The Guardian, but there was no day he ever said he's a journalist.
But still, as a publisher, you should know how to stay within the realms of, as much as you want to exercise your freedom of speech, you learn how to stay within the bounds of what is true and what has been established. Because of freedom after speech.
You just said it. Freedom of speech, guaranteed. Freedom after speech, not guaranteed by the Constitution. It depends on how safe you played at the point of exercising your fundamental human right of freedom. So Sowore has a day in court to prove that the president is actually a criminal. And if he's not able to prove, well, sorry is the case.
Sorry, well, we're hoping that's not what it will be, because he also has other cases against him in court due to the issue with the IGP. I want to quickly go back to the issue of insecurity. Many people have been kidnapped. Bandits are laying siege to communities in Niger State, in Kwara State. I saw a video that just, I don't even know how to explain it. This woman was sitting beside beside two corpses, and one was the corpse of her dead husband. And she was crying, she was screaming in Yoruba language, saying how they collected weapons from the vigilantes and allowed the bandits to come into Okeode in Kwara State and murder the people. People of Kwara State, as I've been saying, in the places ravaged by insecurity in different local government areas, have been saying that they've been speaking to security agents, they've been speaking to their traditional rulers, and traditional rulers have told them to stop talking about insecurity in the state. Is it that when we close our eyes and act like it's not there, then it will disappear? Why are we choosing to play the ostrich with a situation as grave as insecurity? Just yesterday, Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso came out to say that, they will reveal the names of Nigerian politicians or political heavyweights who are involved in funding banditry across the country. And I asked the question, I said, how come other nations and other people seem to know the people who are the purveyors of these violence in Nigeria, but Nigeria does not know? Or we know, we just don't want to act. What exactly is the situation?
I've always said it. If political will is there and the federal government wants to deal decisively with insecurity, it will be done. Look at a village in Katsina turbaning a known terrorist, a wanted man, making him a chief in the village. Which means if security operatives storm that village at that moment, the villagers will side with the terrorists. These are the people who fight for. Why should they do that? A known wanted criminal being made a chief in a community that they have almost sacked everybody. No, now.
Would you say some of these communities do this in order to guarantee their safety? It's like, if we accommodate,
that's what they say,
and they will stop killing us.
That's what they're saying.
But isn't that also submitting themselves to the mercy of these terrorists? And wouldn't you say they're doing that because they've seen that the security agencies, Nigerian security agencies, cannot protect them? We have NSDC, we have the military, we have police, we have joint task force, we have vigilantes, we have hunters, and yet all of these bandits seem to have more sophisticated weapons. They seem to know their way around the forest more. In fact, the people of Kwara State are alleging that helicopters dropped armed men who found out to attack the people.
Esther, Chama, it's sad. It's sad. We play the ostrich. And we play games with human lives. Sometimes I tell myself, is it not a crime to be Mr. or Miss Nobody in this country? People die in droves. You imagine if that lady, Somto, who was not a journalist or an OAP in her rise, it would just be another addition to statistics and data. That's where we have found ourselves. Media houses are not moved by 20 people dying one day. They are only excited with 200, 150 in a row. These are not chickens. These are not goats. Human beings. But unfortunately, those who have the levers of power are playing politics with our lives, and we seem not to have solution to this.
It's unfortunate.
It's unfortunate.
While we're talking about insecurity, we're also talking about a fuel price hike. Many Nigerians will tell you these days that they don't listen to the news anymore.
No,
because they are tired. Because they are tired of bad news. In the meantime, the NLC is beginning to mobilize for a nationwide strike. Can we catch a break? Can we catch a break?
See, Though the fuel price hike is man-made, just because they know that Dangote will not be able to pump price. I mean, I feel in a couple of days over the face-off with Nupeng, Pengerson, Dapman. But the thing is, on both sides, they need to shit this sword because we're talking about Nigerians going back into the era of making petrol attendants, filling station attendants, making them queens and kings because of fuel shortages around filling stations across the country. We shouldn't allow it to happen. Dangote should get to a point that you would have to compromise certain position. Pengasin, No Peng, NLC should also, for the sake of Nigerians, who they claim to represent, who they claim to be protecting, shit their sword so that we can have a seamless flow of fuel from the gantry to end users.
All right, then we'll continue the conversation on matters and then on the world news at 6. Mr. Fanimo, we need to go at
ndị be anyị ngwadalụ ole nenu dịka unu si wee na-esola anyị n'iru akwụkwọ n'ihe nke anyị na-eme na Eastern News 24 ka efi were ikwu gbasịta maka ya bụ ife ndị a niile nọ n'elu akwụkwọ n'ụbọchị uhuruchi nke taa ka efi wee ikwu gbasịta maka ya bụ ife drọpụrụ ife iche n'ụdị nke gị ngwa nke mesịa na ụmụnne m